Okay, number 65. We're almost halfway through. We got Reborn from Hell 2, Jubai's Revenge. Yeah, you probably never heard of this sequel, and good. This is one of the weirdest freaking kung fu flicks I've ever seen in my life, and that's saying a lot, speaking of that genre. The chanting I didn't care for in the movie. The villain chanting. I hate chanting in any movie. I didn't like that in the Child's Play films. This movie was very forgettable, very boring. I had no idea what was going on. The action is very lackluster. It has some good gore, but it doesn't save the movie. I really wish that I never seen this film. I saw it on VHS dubbed, and I don't want to see the Japanese version or whatever it was from. Very boring. Just I hate it. I don't want to watch it again. Okay, now number 64 is The Land Before Time 7's The Stone of Cold Fire. This is the most useless sequel out of all the sequels that have been made of The Land Before Time that I've seen. I don't mind the first three sequels, 2, 3, and 4. I think they're decent. 5 is okay, 6 is okay, but 7 just makes no sense. I mean, there's freaking aliens in the movie. When the hell did aliens have to do with The Land Before Time? No, this is not freaking Lost in Space or something. This is Land Before Time. Petrie has like a freaking uncle that they never explained, that they never brought up in the first couple films. I'm like, where the hell did this guy come from? Done voiced by Michael York. Complete waste of his talent. Just not a good sequel. Just the songs were just pissed me off. I don't even remember any of them. Oh yeah, I remember one. Beyond the Mysterious Beyond. I hate that song in this movie. I hate it. It just pissed me off, and I never want to watch it again. It's a stupid movie. Anyway, now number 63, Rest Stop 2. The first Rest Stop I'm not a fan of either because I like Jamie Alexander. I think she's beautiful. She's Lady Sif in the Thor films. I think she's wonderful. I liked her in The Last Stand, but in this movie she was completely wasted. In the first film, she goes through all this shit, and she does a really good performance in Rest Stop. But then it's got a downbeat ending, like a hopeless ending, like she's in the closet and doesn't get out. I'm like, that sucks. And then in the sequel, they kill her off, and it's just mean spirited. It's just I hate this franchise. I'm glad the ending makes no sense in the movie. It's like, is the girl dead or isn't she, or is it a dream or not? I don't know. I don't care. Rest Stop and Rest Stop 2 sucks. Jamie Alexander has done better, and I've already said which film she was better in. Okay, now number 62 is The Dog That Saved Christmas Vacation. This is the sequel to the first film, which I think is very decent. I like the first film. It's really funny. I like the cast. The sequel was just lackluster. Casper Van Dien gives one of the worst performances in his career. He's a very forgettable character, very over the top, very overly dramatic, like he's doing Shakespeare. It was a dumb movie. It was not as memorable as the first film. They changed some of the cast. It didn't have a Christmas tone like the first film did. I just don't. It wasn't that funny. I mean, the funniest things in the movie were Dean Cain and Coco Diaz. They make these movies. They're hilarious. They're like Daniel Stern and Joe Pesci from the Home Alone films, first two films. Without them, I think this movie would have been completely unwatchable the first time. But I don't want to watch it again. I think it's a lackluster sequel. Very, very stupid. I know it's an ABC Family movie. I shouldn't expect the world, but it should have been better. That's all I'm saying. Okay, now number 90. Oh, not number 90. Number 61 is The Crow, City of Angels. I have not seen Wicked Prayer, which I heard is the worst of the film because Edward Furlong plays the Crow, and I don't buy him in any role other than like John Connor in Terminator 2 or something else. But this movie was just awful. I mean, I don't even know what I saw in this film. I do like Mia Kirshner. I think Mia Kirshner is gorgeous. I can see her. She could be in a movie and play a girl that uses sign language and just looks at me with those amazing eyes, and I would love it. I mean, I saw her in Party Monster, and I thought she was good in that, better than here. It's just a very lackluster sequel. I mean, first of all, The Crow did not need to be a franchise. When Brandon Lee died, that should have been the end of it, because it's a disrespect to him. This guy Vincent Perez, the one that plays the Crow, his accent is so awful that it becomes laughable, and it's a sad movie also because it has the girl from Power Rangers that played Trini, the Yellow Ranger. She's in the movie and she gets thrown out a window. It's comical. It's just laughable, and I don't like to see her die because she died young in like 2001, and I miss her. And this movie just sucks. Nothing memorable. Bad lead choice, to replace Brandon Lee. Just a stupid movie. Okay, number 60 is Cats and Dogs 2: The Revenge of Kitty Galore. This movie was awful. I'm glad that I didn't see this in the theater. It had shitty CGI for the most part for the dogs and cats. There was one part that made me laugh, and that was probably the in the trailer when the squirrel goes dee 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 doo doo. That's the only thing that made me laugh in the film. I thought Cat Williams did his job as the pigeon. He was decent, but the rest of the cast just didn't do it for me. It's very stupid. It's not a good movie for kids. Even the first film is like meh, but I'd like the first film better. This one's awful. Keep it away from your kids. They can see much better films than this. The 3D didn't help the film. James Marsden looks like he's bored out of his freaking... No, actually, he's the voice of the dog. Chris O'Donnell's in the movie. He does nothing for me in this movie. I like him better as Robin in Batman Forever. Here, he does nothing. He's just taking a paycheck. It's a dumb film. Bette Midler tried to be the good villain, but she has her moments, but it's just not funny. It's stupid. Avoid it. Okay, now, number 59 is Underworld Awakening. No, I didn't see the other films. I don't like this franchise. I think it looks stupid. This movie had shitty CGI for the werewolves and the girl, jumping out of freaking, window buildings or whatever the fuck. I don't care for Kate Beckinsale. I'm sorry. I don't like her as an actress. I've seen better. I prefer Scarlett Johansson. At least she's not British, and she's held her own. Kate Beckinsale, I haven't seen her in anything worth a shit since this franchise got rebooted. I mean, I hate this movie. It was one of the worst films I saw in 2012. I know some people like the action. I thought it was forgettable. It's too short. It's like 75 minutes. I've seen better films that were much longer, like Expendables. This movie was dumb. Didn't like the acting, didn't like the writing, didn't like the characters, didn't like the direction, didn't like the CGI, didn't like the villain, didn't remember anything. So that's all I gotta say about Underworld Awakening. And fuck the first two films. I don't want to watch them. Sorry.